Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage President and CEO of Tigerpaw Software, James Foxall.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I was supposed to tell you, because I broke a promise. I had told Mary I was going to play guitar with the band last night, and I just didn't have time to get a song learned, but that was one of my original recordings, and she wanted to play that, wanted me to share that. So there's a surprise this morning. Thank you. How are you guys doing? Some are doing better than others. How y'all doing? Thank you. I warned you. I told you we work very hard and we play very hard. You guys worked all day yesterday. You definitely played last night. I hope you guys had a good time. I am absolutely amazed and astounded at how many of you brought costumes and participated. I thought that was just absolutely amazing. We expected a few of you to do it, but to see so many people in costume, what a great time. And you guys were supportive of the whole event, and that was really, really cool. One of the things that I like about being at Tigerpaw is I think we have a unique culture across our user base, and I don't exactly know why. I don't know if it's because we come from a family company background, and we've got people like the Hobbses that have been with us 25 years, and they've raised families, and when new people come into the fold, they talk to the people that have been around for a while, and it just kind of continues. But I have to tell you, I love our customers, and I love the vibe of our customers, and that's really, really cool to me. So the party was great. Did you guys see my doppelgangers? Yeah, so we had two guys dressed in jeans and black t-shirts with curly wigs running around with name badges that said James Foxall. And then Rick from CompTIA shows up in a Michael Jackson costume and the same wig. And he says, very excited, says, "Who am I?" I said, "You're Michael Jackson." He said, "No, I'm James Foxall dressed like Michael Jackson." I thought that was really funny. I thought that was great. So, awesome party. We did say that we were having a costume contest. We've picked a winner. There was so much activity going on last night we couldn't do it. But it was really hard to pick a winner of the costume contest. There were so many good costumes, so much variety. What we try to do is pick one that somebody had brought as opposed to have here, one that was probably a challenge to get here, and not a difficult or not an easy thing to wear all night and to dance. And this gentleman had a very heavy, very hot costume on and danced all night in it. And it's Brian Hertzler, the fireman. Brian, can you come up here? There he is. Now, I'm told you're actually a volunteer fireman. Is that right? That's awesome. Yeah. I actually, many, many years ago, served on a volunteer department for a short period of time, and I know how hot and exhausting that is. And I couldn't, carrying a dummy is one thing. Dancing all night? Wow. So, congratulations.
I drank a lot of water last night.
Perfect. Thank you for participating. Many of you took a lot of photos and have a lot of videos, and I would love it if you took the ones that weren't as incriminating and shared those. We have a Facebook page, Tigerpaw Co. You guys might be familiar with. We're also on Twitter. The hashtag for this particular event is Tigerpaw. Oh, that's a misspelling on my part. That's what happens when you try to add a slide at midnight after a party. It should be 2015, Tigerpaw 2015. I probably didn't need to say anything. You guys would have probably glanced right over it. But yep, oops. We talk about accountability at Tigerpaw. That one's on me. So please do share your photos, share your videos. I would love to see them. I was so busy I didn't get a chance to get many of my own. So that was last night. Today is all about roadmap. Today's all about product and what we're doing to enhance the application, better your business, and train you guys on what we've got to offer. So first thing I'd like to do is recap all that we've built. As you guys might remember from yesterday, 15R1 shipped in May, so we're going on like 4 or 5 months, and over half of you have not actually rolled it out and installed it yet. And it was a huge, huge update. I was talking to Kevin Leibel in the elevator this morning, and I know you're out here, Kevin. Thank you for sharing with me. He's had some ups and downs with us, and he said, he installed 15R1 in the last week and a half, I think he said, and it was by far the smoothest, most stable release he's ever done with Tigerpaw, which is huge. We have continued to invest in automated testing tools, build technology, hiring new people, changing our processes, and I think we're getting better and better, and we're extremely proud of what we're producing. The unfortunate part is you guys aren't always running what we're giving you. So a lot of what I'm going to show you today, before we get into where we're going, is what we've been working on and what we're building, and I think some of it is going to surprise you and it's going to amaze you. The kind of cornerstone of the morning is going to be talking about the Matrix. How many of you guys went to Rick's session yesterday on the Matrix? I know it was standing room only. I had very good things about that. Yeah, Rick is a very passionate guy, so I've actually asked him to come up this morning. I'm going to show you how the mechanics of it work, and Rick is going to share with you some examples of how he's used it to be more efficient in his business. It's pretty cool stuff. So let's start by a recap of where we have been since the last conference. This might surprise you, the statistics. We've had 7 updates to the desktop, including 15R1, which is one of the most monumental releases we've had in a very long time. So we were very busy. Some of these were hot fixes, some of these were point revisions with feature additions, but we had 7 updates to the desktop. We've had 5 updates to the portals. We continue to enhance the customer and the employee portals. A lot of these products are fairly stable. They're just getting minor tweaks and revisions, but people find things and make suggestions, and we roll out new updates. Tigerpaw Mobile, 11 updates. Now, the cool thing about mobile is it is a hosted application in the cloud, so you guys didn't have to deploy these updates. You just got them. But I've told you we are extremely committed to mobile, very proud of where we've gotten that product to, and we're making constant updates to Tigerpaw Mobile. Our API has had 3 major updates, and we're about to release a new version of the API, which I'll talk about shortly. And what that means to you guys is more people are writing integrations than ever before to Tigerpaw. We've also the Exchange Integrator. How many of you use the Exchange Integrator? We talked about this yesterday. There's probably 30 or 40 people here. We had 3 updates in the last year, including a major one around the 15R1 release that finally took care of some stability issues we've been trying to track down with some versions of Exchange. So if you're running the Exchange Integrator, you absolutely want to run this version. And I use the Exchange Integrator all day, every day as well as you guys. So, and I can tell you from personal experience, it's a great update and you should look at rolling it out. So we're producing a lot of code that you guys might not be aware of or might not see. In addition to that, as I mentioned, we've upped our game on automated testing tools, things with source code control, our efficiency in getting builds out, our ability to produce hot fixes. So a lot of infrastructure and architecture changes that you're not going to see immediately. They're not going to show up on a downloads page, but hopefully you're going to feel them in the quality of the software that we're producing and in the frequency that we're producing it. As I mentioned, being quicker with hot fixes is an example. So we've got a lot of good stuff going on. I want to talk about what's new and improved because we've done a lot of really cool things with the product. First of all, I think there's maybe only one or two of you that have seen this. How many of you guys do progressive billing in Tigerpaw? Excellent. And for those of you that don't, the idea is you can start, say, with the project. Maybe you're doing an install of a network for a client. And they're going to pay you a small amount up front, and they're going to pay you as the work continues. So as you fulfill items and as you complete phases of your project, you want to bill in those pieces. And we support that, and we keep all the taxing and all the prorated straight. But the work in progress invoice that you guys have been sending out is very basic. It's just a statement with a dollar amount. So one of the most widely requested changes we've had in the product, believe it or not, was to give a better progressive invoice. So that was the old one. This is the new one. And hopefully you can read it up here. You can see now they get a... Thank you. I knew we'd make somebody happy. So you've got all the detail now that's been done so far on the job. You've got the existing invoice information, but you also have the previous invoices and payment history all on this one invoice. So hopefully that makes it a lot easier for you guys to get paid, and you don't have your customer calling up going, why did I get this bill? Right? Yep. Saving time. So that's a very cool change. We've done a lot with reports, a lot of them centered around key performance indicators. I'm just going to give you a highlight of some of the ones that we've done. So new sales activity. We've done a lot with sales reporting. We've done a lot with sales functionality and opportunity management. You know, one thing I'd love to tell you guys, it's an old Microsoft term, but we eat our own dog food. You guys know what that means? It's not literal. We actually run Tigerpaw throughout our entire organization. So if you engage our sales team, if we've done any marketing, we have you as an opportunity in our opportunity management system. If you call our sales team, the proposal that you're getting is coming out of Tigerpaw. We then turn that into an order inside of Tigerpaw as a work order, and we fulfill it inside Tigerpaw. Our help desk manages, somewhere around 4,000 tickets in a quarter. every one of those tickets is inside of Tigerpaw. And it's very important to us that we do that so that we are, again, eating our own dog food, we experience the same things you guys experience and find those opportunities to fix the pain points. The sales is something we've put a lot of energy into in the last 12 months. I hope you're all using the sales functionality of Tigerpaw, but if you're not using it, you really should explore it, particularly on the opportunity side. We have ways to do tracking of opportunities, to produce forecasts that are far more accurate than anything you've done in the past. Some really cool stuff. So I encourage you to explore reports like this. Sales activity to me isn't just a sale. A sale's pretty easy to see. What did we invoice? I'm always interested in how many opportunities did we create today? How many quotes did we produce today? I like to see these numbers daily when I'm in the office. And even when I'm outside the office, I often have the report sent to me. Why? Because it's the activity today that produces the results tomorrow, right? If all you're looking at is your invoices, you're not seeing the picture of what's coming at you. And that's the whole point of a sales funnel, is to get an idea of what's coming at you and how you can make changes in time to meet your problems. I don't know what your guys' current sales cycle looks like. At Tigerpaw, it runs on average about 48 days for a new customer to make a decision. That's an average. If you don't know your average, that's something that you're going to want to track and understand. So what does that mean? If I have a problem with my sales cycle today, I might not feel it today, but 48 days from now, that's when I'm going to feel the pain. So if all you're looking at from your sales perspective is your invoices, you're missing the total picture and you're missing the ability to adapt and react. So we've done some really cool reporting on the sales side. Service orders. Obviously, all of you probably use service. It's the most common feature that we've got in the product being used by people. So we've done some really neat metrics reports these are in the product. You guys have these right now if you would install it. This is just an example of the one we have. We're doing a lot more trending, indicators of where you are today, but also the trending to compare where you've been in the past. It's extremely important. You noticed yesterday when I shared with you our support stats. It was important for me to show you Q3 of this year to Q3 of last year. Businesses are seasonal. I know your guys' business is seasonal. I know from our reporting of our merchants on the credit card processing, for example, I get overall summary reports of the processing that you guys do. I don't get into details. I just get, here's for the month, here's what everybody did. And what I find fascinating, and not too surprising, your sales cycles and your seasonality actually mimics ours. So clearly your buying patterns from your clients are infecting your buying patterns with us. Good things to know. So we're always looking year over year, because that gives us a little bit more accurate of a picture when it comes to seasonality. It's very difficult for us, for example, to compare September to August, because it's too close of a time frame to really mean anything. So we've got some really neat reports in there to help you really understand your data and where you're at. Profitability. Obviously, this is sample data. If any of you can run a business where all of your revenue is profit, I might actually come work for you. That'd be pretty awesome. But this gives you an idea of the kind of data that you can get out of Tigerpaw now that wasn't quite as easy to pull in the past. And again, looking at variances, looking at comparisons, from a managerial perspective, these reports are absolutely fantastic to really understand the true health of your organization. Again, looking at a top-line sales dollar isn't going to do it. You've got to really understand where your goals are, where you were in the past, and where you are today. And that's what these reports are designed to do. Recurring revenue. How many of you have a recurring revenue stream? Yay. How many don't but want to? I think hopefully most of you have it. How many of you consider yourself managed service providers? About half the room. But how many of you are wanting to be managed service providers? A number of you. Yeah. Recurring revenue is extremely critical, and we can have a whole session on that. I think we probably do, on being a managed service provider. But we get it. We've got a lot of MSPs. We've got a lot of voice guys that have done things like what Tag does with CPAP, which have actually turned hardware into a recurring revenue model. It's a brilliant program that they do. Point of sale guys are looking at doing it. Really, any service can be deployed as a managed service. It doesn't necessarily have to be raw, straight IT. But we've built a lot of functionality with integrations, with the way we handle agreements, with the automatic billing for your recurring agreements, with the payment processing. And now we've added a lot of new reports to help you understand your recurring revenue stream. As a business owner, you need to understand your recurring revenue stream. And I know when I've chatted with some people about recurring revenue, it's always an interesting topic. They know they want to do it. They think it's important, but they can't always wrap their heads around it. But I will tell you, we've been from a company in our history without a recurring revenue stream to having a solid recurring revenue stream. And it's not just about the money. The money is fantastic. When things happen, when the market has a dip, when you have a recurring revenue stream, you can weather that a lot better. But I will tell you, there's other advantages. It's very difficult, I think, as a business leader, to make big investment decisions in the future of your company when the dollar amounts are uncertain. You know, when you walk into your business on the first of the month and you turn that key and you open that door and you start at zero, that's really hard to wrap your head around a $100,000 phone system or some other technology upgrade or hiring 3 high-paid people. You know, how can I know in 6 months I'm going to be able to afford that? The recurring revenue stream gives you that buffer, and it changes your mentality and how you look at investing in your business and where you're going. So we're huge believers in that. We're here to help you do that, and we've got a lot of neat reports to kind of help you analyze how well you're doing with your recurring revenue stream. Another challenge that you guys were facing is, I've mentioned before, when it comes to recurring revenue and managed services, I'm on record as saying I'm not a believer in a 100% pure MSP. There's some of you out there, some of you are very profitable, but the guys that we see, the guys that are running Tigerpaw that are the most successful and the most profitable organizations are running some sort of converged business where their services are based on a managed services model, but they're still doing project work, still doing installs, still selling equipment. And when you're in that kind of environment, oftentimes some of your best clients are going to be multi-site clients, whether it's going into a school system to sell them a phone system or to sell them a network. You've got multiple locations. One of the challenges that we had in Tigerpaw before 15R1 is how do you manage the billing of all that? And if you're dealing with a school system, they want 10 networks. You've got 10 different locations. They're all going to be different, cutting different purchase orders. You're going to manage them on different service orders. You've got different people involved. So what we did, and this was an awful lot of work in the back end, but we implemented central billing. So how many of you do work with multi-site clients today? A lot of you. How many of you struggle with figuring out how to bill them? Yeah, we've solved that problem. So this is a sample to give you an idea, right? The top invoice, 3168, literally consisting of 10 service orders from 4 accounts. And we handle all the different taxing because those different locations could be in different tax districts. All of it will feed your accounting properly. But that's the kind of topology you can have now with an invoice that you couldn't do before. So the idea is you create your service orders, you link your accounts, you set up some basic accounting setting, and then when you're ready to bill, there's a wizard we've got. In fact, I can show you how that works. So here's where you would go into your accounting setup, which you guys are all probably familiar with, and you can turn on central billing, enable it. You can have all of the child accounts billed to the parent, but you also have the ability to do some overrides if you want to bill an individual location. Once this is set up, then we take a look at your linked accounts. You can link accounts in Tigerpaw and designate one as a parent. That is the ecosystem for a particular billing. So you can bill an individual child, or you can say, no, all these children I want to roll up. So once they're linked and once you set their flags, it's just simply a matter of running our billing wizard when it's time to bill. You'll come in here, you'll pick a few options based on the relationship, closed orders, what rep is going to get credited as you roll all of these together, because they might have different reps to credit on the invoice. We're going to show you all of the invoices that match those particular criteria. You can see here whether or not they're flagged ready to invoice, and you can also have a checkbox on invoice now. Those can be set at the service order, so when somebody wants it billed, they can actually set it at that level and it rolls up to the wizard. Once you're done, you click next, we'll generate a single invoice. All of that data is on that invoice. All of the proper accounting has been taken care of to feed your accounting package. So time-saving stuff, right? Not revolutionary huge features here. These are things to make you guys more effective and more efficient every day. Also on the matrix, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, central billing invoices are a unique type of invoice. You'll find they have their own icon that flows throughout the system. They've got their own set of data that you can drill down into to understand where all that invoicing information came from. So another challenge with your multi-sites is dealing with, how many of you deal with a contact that works for or with multiple clients that you have? A lot of you. How many of you have duplicated those contacts across all those accounts? A lot of you. How many of you had to update an email address or phone number for one person that's across all those accounts? That kind of sucks, doesn't it? Yeah, it sucks a lot. So we have the same problem. Rick Harbor, who's going to get up here, works with a lot of you guys. He handles a lot of the installs for us. You may know Ed Manna or Chris Devaney. These are guys that are accounts in Tigerpaw, but they also get assigned to you guys when you engage them from a consulting agreement. And say Chris Devaney's on 30 accounts in Tigerpaw and his address changes or his phone number changes. We've got to go find all 30 locations. We've got to update that. So what we've done, and by the way, you may have noticed I never use stock people photography and my presentations. I hate it. So, but I figured I'd better start that way, but I'll make something a little more contextual. So let's say you've got a zombie like Rick Harbor. He was like across multiple accounts you're dealing with. Here's what we've done. We've built the ability to share contacts across accounts. Are you guys using this yet? I can tell by your look you're not, and you want to. Excellent. So you come into the contacts here on the account, and you can see the button. We've added a new link account or link contact button. You click that button, and then you can search Tigerpaw for any other contact in the system, select them, and they become linked. What that means is one becomes the master and you can designate it as the parent, but all of them then, all the data is spread across all of them because they might have different addresses when you link them. We're smart enough to say which one is going to be the key. Everyone that's linked now is linked, has all the same data. You update any of them, any of those linked contacts on any account, all the rest of those linked contacts get that new data. So you got an email address you got to change. You change it once, it goes across 30 people. You can come to the contact, and you can see a link here on the right. This guy's linked to one additional account. It would also say he's not linked to any. You click that, and then you can see everybody that's in the linkage. So from here, I can unlink them. I can designate a different one as a parent, or again, I can click a link button to go out and find somebody else. So if you've already got 30 out there, it's not like you have to delete them and recreate them. Just go out and build these linked linkages, and you're golden, and you're off and running. This is a big deal. I think for those of you guys that are dealing with this problem, this is a huge time saver. It's also really a bummer when you can't reach somebody and you're trying to figure out, I got him in my database 6 times with 6 different phone numbers, right? So that problem is gone. And this kind of shows the philosophy of where we're going. You know, we've put a lot of features in the product. As you can tell from what we've talked about, a lot of them aren't even getting used yet, right? So adding a ton of huge, big new features, well, we've got some surprises for you. That's not our big focus. Our big focus is things like this. How do we continue to refine the product? How do we take out pain points? How do we put in pieces that are more efficient and let you be a little bit more intuitive and work the way that you expect it to work to get things done? So I'm really proud of the selection of some of these features and implementing them. We've also, I believe this is something, whoa, have we lost it? There we go. Inventory. How many of you are tracking your inventory items in Tigerpaw? A big chunk of you. Obviously, that's a big piece of the product and something that makes us very unique. In the past, I know some of you have multiple warehouses, and you've struggled with the bin system in Tigerpaw because you can designate a warehouse bin, like row 6, box number 4, but the bins were specific to the inventory item. To this particular router, I've got one bin. The problem is for those of you guys, I think you guys have multiple warehouses, 3 warehouses in three different locations. Those bins are not the same in each location. So it makes it physical inventory and picking and fulfilling a bit of a challenge. So what we did in 15R1 is we added unique bin support per location. I'll give you an example on the screen here. This is the inventory screen right down there. I've got this item, this desktop PC, in 2 different locations, a staging location and warehouse 1. Both of them have their own bin. Also notice we added min and max values at the bin. So I'm kind of showing it together, but think about this separate. Maybe you don't have multiple warehouses, but do you have technician vehicles? In the past, you've been able to say, I want to have 6 of these routers minimum in my inventory. And Tigerpaw will watch for that. And if you fill the 6th one and go down to 5, we'll let you know so that you can go get that addressed. But you couldn't do it at the vehicle level. So maybe you want 6 in your inventory total, but you want 2 in every vehicle. And I want to know when one vehicle drops below 2. You can now do that through the min-max feature at the location level. So you can set up specific vehicles to have specific min and max and get notified whenever they dip, to prevent rolling a truck out that doesn't have a part that it needs, which is very frustrating and extremely expensive. Also, this, of course, has been carried over to physical inventory. So when you do your physical, the bins per location and the min-max are visible and evident. I was going to show you how F1 help. We talked about it. I'm going to skip that for now because we got started a few minutes late. Another thing that we have done is handle PCI compliance in Tigerpaw. So right now, if you're not using BNG or Mercury for payment processing, your credit card information is stored encrypted in your Tigerpaw database. I want to give you all a very big heads up. Sometime next year, one of the updates is going to zap all of that credit card information. We are no longer going to have that in the Tigerpaw database. We don't want it there, and honestly, you don't want it there. Now, if you sign up with one of our payment processors, we can move all of those credit cards up into their vault. The way we addressed PCI compliance is we took ourselves themselves out of PCI compliance scope. I don't know if you guys are familiar with PCI compliance. It's a crazy, hairy deal. And with all the credit card theft and everything going on, I mean, we just did not want to be in the middle of it. So what we do is the credit card information that you enter when you turn on one of these payment processors looks like you're entering it in Tigerpaw. You're actually embedding it in a web page that goes directly to the merchant's vault. The credit card is stored encrypted in their vault, and a tokenized piece of data is sent back to Tigerpaw. So your database includes a token specific to B&G or specific to Mercury. In fact, I think Mercury actually gives us a new token every time a card is used. So what happens is there's never any credit card information stored in your SQL database. If your database got stolen, you're completely off the hook. You're not in PCI scope. And that was the best way for us to handle this. So those of you that have not signed up with B&G or Mercury, you still have your credit cards encrypted in the database, but fair warning, we're going to have to move those out for both of our sakes. But all you got to do is sign up with one of these guys and you're golden. Even if you're not processing payments, you still have the vault that can hold all that credit card data. That was a lot of work, but I think it was very important. I don't think any of us wants to try to survive the legal aftermath of a data breach. Just a nightmare. Mobile CRM shipped. We've done some great things. I want to focus mostly on the matrix, but I would like to remind you guys, we've had service functionality, but we've done CRM functionality. So you can see my agenda here. You can see there's a little icon of an opportunity, which tells me this is a sales-related appointment as opposed to a service-related appointment. My dashboard's now got things such as, my quota, how many opportunities, what are they worth. We've also got service dashboards, but this is the CRM side. So your field sales guys now are armed with a tool, or when they work at a show here, can come meet somebody. Again, voice to text if you want. Just type it, mention some notes, pick a couple fields. All the data goes back to Tigerpaw, and all the automation of Tigerpaw works. Account details, you can see everything's a link. I can click on a map button for a guy to know where I'm going to go out for my sales call. Tap the phone button to make a phone call, kind of standard stuff, but we've really embraced the device. Also a lot of contact details. And all this stuff is interrelated. I can click the email to email, I can click the account name to go back to the account data, but we have brought accounts, contacts, and opportunities down to the mobile device. It runs in the same application as service. It's one application. We didn't make a sales and a service application. And remember, with Tigerpaw 1 that you all get for free, this is for every one of your users. So all your techs can run the service side, all of your sales guys can run the CRM side, you guys get it all. Opportunity information, of course, it wouldn't be a sales tool without opportunities. So it's easy on site to program the expected amount, best case, worst case, pick a sales stage, pick a status. And remember, this is all tied to your live database. So any workflow and automation, such as automatically emailing sales information to the client, all that's taken care of. If you meet a guy at a mixer and you punch in his information and you set a sales stage, you can have Tigerpaw emailing him information while you're still standing there talking to him, which is actually pretty powerful to do that. It's a great dialogue point. So this brings me, the thing I really want to highlight, the thing that is just so exciting to us is the matrix. How many, less than half of you have it. How many have used the matrix? Oh my God. I wish this was the thing, I wish every one of you would raise your hand and say you've used it. This is some of the most powerful and absolutely some of the most innovative technology that we have built in a very long time. It is something that nobody else has. No competitor has it. We weren't playing catch up. This is unique to us. And it's all part of the philosophy of Tigerpaw 1, which is all data available to everybody. And I always put the little asterisk with security permissions, of course. But it's a tool that allows you to take all that data you have and leverage it to support better, to sell more. When you print out a report, that report's pretty much expired and obsolete right after you've done it. It's done. The matrix is really a live reporting engine. Now, one of the challenges we have related to this is, the matrix. How many of you knew about the matrix? How many of you didn't know about the matrix? This is the first time you're seeing it. Wow, that's way too many people. We have struggled with the ability to get our messages out to you and keep you informed of what we've been up to. We send you emails. Sometimes they get read, sometimes they don't. We update our forums. We update our website. As you know, it's quite a challenge. And somebody will tell me, wait a minute, I didn't know you had an Exchange update. I'm like, well, I'll look in their folder, in their journal. It's like, yeah, well, we sent that email to you. We've got it right there. But we all know how busy we are. So we have been working on how do we get messages to the end users. And what we've built in 15R1 is what we call our What's New box. You can see it right here. Some of you have experienced it, some of you haven't, some of you have given me feedback on it. What happens is we have the ability on our end to produce a piece of news. And by the way, this is not something we're using for a marketing spam component. We are sending you guys updated classes from the learning management system, things about the conference. We don't want to spam your users. But what we do want is your users to have information to be empowered to do their jobs. So if you've had 15R1, you've got a number of things like this. This one happens to be about LiveBridge and about the conference. Notice we've got to hide this. So this will come up in your Explorer bar as a user. When you see that message and you say, flag this as being hide this, you'll never see that message again. And we may not have another message come up for a week. It may be 3 days if there's something important, but I don't think it's any more frequently than once a day. But the point is you can hide it and it's gone. The first iteration that we did of this, we put it in the lower left-hand corner and we kept it open all the time. I don't know how many of you guys saw that. That did not make you guys happy. We took off valuable real estate. It was very intrusive. But you know what happened is we have a set of forums on our community. And this is a great time to talk about that community because a number of people got on the community and said, hey, we find this a bit invasive. It's taking up valuable real estate. How do we turn it off? And we said, well, we don't want to turn it off. We need to get this message to you. What can we do to make it more functional and more helpful? And so working on the community, I was involved in that dialogue personally on that. We came up with a new way to do it, the ability to flag them as red, the ability to make the whole thing go away. And we had a new update out within, I think, about a week and a half from when that dialogue first started. That's what I'm talking about, being responsive and about listening to the clients. The community is the way to have that voice with us. So when you install this, you'll see this, but understand it's made to be as unobtrusive as possible. But I did hear one comment the other day about that we may be overeducating. Somebody said their users are actually getting these training messages and they're getting trained on the product and now they're dabbling in areas they didn't want them to be in. I don't know how to solve that problem yet, but we're going to talk about it and figure it out. So that's the first time I think I've actually been accused of overeducating Tigerpaw clients, but we'll work on that. So that's what we've got for the help box to get the news out. Here's what our community looks like. I've got a static screenshot. I'm actually going to jump in with the Academy, but if you take a look, this is our forums. Many of you have been here. Take a look at this column right here, these votes column. All right, if you go into the feature request form, we built this a while back. We've left it out there pretty quiet. We've just been kind of watching it, but now's the time to officially launch it and let you guys know we're going to be very actively engaged with this feature request forum. I can click and sort by votes, but how the votes work is every user in the community gets 5 votes. So if you've got 40 employees, you got 40 people, each get 5 votes. If you've got 2 people, you got 2 people, each get 5 votes. And the idea is I can come in and I can disperse my votes, only 1 vote per topic, but I can go into a topic. It's a forum thread, so you can see I can respond. A dialogue can take place on the feature request, but I can actually assign my vote to a particular topic. And our intent then is to use the feature voting side of this request page as part of our development roadmap. So if the community speaks and there's enough people that say, I agree with this, I want to get this accomplished, we can click that right off of the community and get that feature implemented. But what's really cool is the dialogue that takes place. You'd be surprised sometimes when you ask for something to find out other people, they don't want that, or they want it slightly different. So we've built it in a way that it's a conversation, so multiple people can participate on that thread. And then, of course, you've got your voting that you can do with it. I'm going to guess most of you have never even seen this. So we're starting to push you guys to this. If you call our help desk and you've got a feature suggestion, you're going to see us start to strongly encourage you to go here. Because if you give it to us over the phone, we're going to document it, we're going to save it, but then it's in our process. It's not public, it's not necessarily visible, though we're looking at ways to make it more visible. This is where it's visible. It's right there. You're going to have developers posting, you're going to have Tigerpaw people that will be part of the conversation, you're going to have other users that can place their votes, you're going to know exactly where that feature request sits, whether it's moving up the chain or it's been, denied or abandoned. It's going to be right there. So I encourage you all to get to the community. There's a link right inside of Tigerpaw. It's right in the upper right-hand corner. But get out to the community and participate in this. You want to see something in the product? This is becoming the new way to ask for that. And get your friends on board. That's part of the whole point of community. You're welcome to get out there and lobby for an item. If you've got multiple people in your organization, it's important to all of you guys, get them in there to get them to vote. Every vote counts. Every user counts. So we're really excited to have this available. Please use it. You guys going to use this? Yes. Nobody? All right. Thank you. We're working hard. You know, as you see, we do a lot of code, we make a lot of changes, we have a lot of involvement, but it still can be a little bit of a challenge to break that barrier, that gap, right? How do we communicate well and how do we make things transparent? This is one of our many efforts that we've got going on to take that barrier down, make sure we have a conduit for communication and we have a transparency of what we're doing. So come on out, you'll see me out there. I promise you we'll work with you on that. And as I said, upper right side of Tigerpaw, you've got a link right to the community, right where that feature request is. So that link is always available when you're using Tigerpaw. API, it's important I talk about the API. Integrations. We have a number of integrations, but we've got a lot more coming. So we've been putting a huge amount of energy into our API to make it so other application vendors and different types of vendors can integrate their products with Tigerpaw. We know how important that is to you. Recently completed integrations, it's an almost complete list here. We talked about AVG. Bright Gauge, which is out there. Have you guys seen their tools? They're phenomenal. Their metrics and reporting tools are great. Jenny is here. They built a PO integration so that if you purchase from them, you can actually generate the PO in Tigerpaw and electronically send that over to them for fulfillment. Very cool piece. Servoyant is a small RMM. They've recently written to us. Global Mentoring Help Desk is here. They got the ability to handle off-site help desk for you with ticket integration from your Tigerpaw system, which we think is really slick. So those of you guys that maybe are looking to get into the MSP side, maybe coming from another market, and you're looking at how do you integrate maybe a third-party help desk, you should really chat with these guys. D-Tools from the AV side, we've had a recent update to D-Tools, and we've got another one coming out there. That's a great application for drawing complicated AV technology plans. We can actually take those and turn those into projects and allow you then to fulfill them as orders and work them in Tigerpaw. LabTech, we had a recent integration update by working with the LabTech folks. And then Trek, which is actually Rick Harbor's tool. If you guys haven't seen it, you should talk to Rick. He's built some incredible utilities that run on top of Tigerpaw that do some amazing things. So those are all completed recently. What we've got in the process right now, Rapid Fire Tools, which is here. They're nearing completion on their integration. They're a great partner. ESET, QuoteWorks is also here. We've got a basic quote import with those guys now, but they're writing a real-time link, which is really, really slick. We have got Marketopia, so we've got some sales and marketing type integrations. Great America, they're here. We've had an integration with them for a very long time, but it's going to a new level. There's some existing functionality that's being added. And then eTrade, which is another marketing service that we're building integrations to make it easier to market. So this is a snapshot of what's going on today. There's a number of other ones that have our API. We don't necessarily have dates or commitments from them, but we want you guys to know our API is one of the things now that is going to get constant development attention. You know, different features and different parts of the product kind of come in and out on the roadmap. The API is a constant. We want to make sure that we have the most robust API out there, so anything anybody wants to write to us, they can get done. The new API that's coming out, this may be a little technical for some of you. I think a few of you will actually appreciate it. So we've got an API we've built that's all based on the REST protocol, which is as modern as it gets from a web-based API. We'll support SOAP, WCF, JSON, and XML. You guys, our mobile solution actually runs on top of our own API using the JSON protocols to give you an idea how robust the API is. We think that's really great. Tigerpaw accounts, contacts, and opportunities and price book are supported and some master tables. We're looking at adding quotes to this very soon. So again, the ultimate goal is to get everything available in the API. I do mention SOAP twice. WCF is the new version of SOAP, and that is also supported. And we have a sandbox for partners right now that want to write to this, but it's actually going to be released here in November for this new current version. So if you guys are looking to write an integration or want access, all of this is done and in testing, but you can expect it out in the next couple of weeks. But API is a critical piece to us. In the past, we wrote a lot of integrations ourselves, and those are slowly being phased out by people writing to our API. It's a much better way to do things and a lot less time-consuming for us. So look to see some really great things from an integration perspective. That's a big part of where we're going. You might be wondering about how you're going to learn all the stuff that you have and that we've given you. So one of the things I want to cover here before I'm done is the Tigerpaw Academy. How many of you have been out to the Tigerpaw Academy? About half the room. Do you like it? It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Yeah, it's almost addictive too, right? Getting through all the quizzes and getting through your certifications. Great, I'm really glad you like it. So what we did is we ported over our old database from the My Tigerpaw, where you guys used to get training resources. So we have about 33,000 people in this system. We have 15 courses today. We have 319 training resources. videos, webinars, quick reference guides. Believe it or not, we launched it in May. We've had 1,922 course completions as of last week. So a lot of you guys are getting through the courses, which is just fantastic. The highest increase in registration since we launched, getting the most out of the Matrix. We have some great Matrix classes in there, and understanding the price book. Courses with the highest increase in completions would be integrating Tigerpaw with QuickBooks, and then of course multiple sites with central billing, which is a big new piece that we put out. So these classes are getting run through and getting used. The most completions, of course, was probably no surprise, is Welcome to Tigerpaw. But to me, a slide on this just doesn't do it justice. So let me pull up the Tigerpaw Academy. And hopefully my internet will stay connected and I'm golden. So you can see here, I'm in. We've got, of course, going to have to update this banner when I get back because the conference is gone. But let me walk you through a little bit about what we have here. First of all, I'd be remiss not to point out the live training opportunities. I mentioned to you guys that we have Ask the Expert sessions every day. This is what goes on. This was October. If you guys haven't been here, please go here. Notice we've got not only do we have the Ask the Expert sessions, we also have all sorts of webinars that we do. We pick certain areas of the product. We get partners to come in and provide value by doing webinars. All of that is on the schedule. In fact, I can pop over here to November so you guys can see what's coming up. And notice the Ask the Expert. I can click right on it. I told you before, the Ask the Expert is not topic specific. This is 1 hour a day where a trainer, such as Tony or Shovna, or get on here, or Lauren, and they're available to you for an hour to do whatever you want to go over. They'll dive into the product with you. They'll talk about process. They'll give you advice on where to go with your next part of implementation. I mean, this is a real live human being. This is not a pre-recorded webinar. And you can register right here from the Tigerpaw Academy. So come in, check out the calendar. Let's see if I can get to the back button. And register right from this point. So lots of great live training. We also, of course, have a lot of training resources. Those of you that have not been to the Tigerpaw Academy, this is more of what you're used to in the past. You're interested in marketing, there's all the resources we have on learning marketing. We've got videos and white papers and fact sheets. And what it used to be was a kind of a cherry picking thing, right? You kind of come in, I want to learn a little about something, I'm going to look at this topic, and you'd kind of pick it by hand. We make these resources available. We really don't want you going in there unless you're going to find something that you've already learned. What we really want you to do is to be in the courses. So here's our current course catalog. Welcome to the Tigerpaw Academy, build your Tigerpaw environment, basics, and of course they get more advanced as you go, like the price book. And you can see I'm registered for all these. We got 15, we got I think 4 more coming. We're very, very active in building these courses. And what they look like, and this is part of the learning management system, we try to structure this like what you would have if you were taking an online college course. So you can see here, I can come in and take a look. I've already completed this one. Let me expand it. These are all the components that are in this session. If you look at this next session here about your environment, I'm about halfway through. So the green indicates where I'm at. This next one would be right here. Notice there are prerequisites. I can't pick the next one until I complete the current one. I can come in here. In this case, it's a PDF. Sometimes it's a video. There's different ways that we do things. We might point you to the implementation guide and say read page 25 to 30. It's an assignment. You got to do the assignment. And then we have a quiz engine. And you've got to score 80% on the quiz or better to move forward to the next session. So, what we want to do is not just throw this stuff out there. We want to make sure you get it. These quizzes were not designed to trip you up, to make you feel stupid. I know some of the old Microsoft exams, they included questions that nobody could answer. It's like they like the failure rate and charging you to take it again. That's not our point. What we want to do is make sure you understand what you need to understand to move forward. So I, at my own pace, can take these courses, move through them, and then when I complete them, you have the ability to print off a certificate. So you can ask your employees to print off their certificates if you'd like. However, if you're an admin, and I think this is really cool, some of you in the past have given us a call and asked Susie to do a run. What training videos have my people done? Are they doing anything? One thing that's very frustrating for me is to get somebody who's implementing Tigerpaw. The owner calls me really upset and says, my person X says this isn't possible, you don't have this, they're struggling. And then I'll go over into the training system and pull it up and find out they didn't take a single training class. It's nice for me to have that because it helps us have a better dialogue. The reality is you guys should have that. You need to know what your people are doing. Now notice I pulled up the Tigerpaw profiles here. I'm going to go... I'll see if I can pick Susie. So Susie, who runs the training team, Susie's responsible for this tool that you guys are seeing. It's a fantastic launch. Notice I can come in here and I can actually see everything that Susie has done. If I can go even do a detailed activity feed and see all of her logging in, logging out, what classes she's taken, the quizzes that she's taken, I have all of this available to me as an admin. One of the things that we're working on right now, and it may even be in a way I haven't seen it because we've been doing some development work, is we're going to give the ability for admins ultimately to be able to assign courses. So that when you get a new employee, rather than just send them in here, you can log in and say, I want you to take these 3 courses, and then you can track and monitor the progress. This is a pull system right now. You go in as a manager, you can see what they're doing. Ultimately, we want to make this a push system. So you as a manager can say, give me a weekly email update on the progress my people are making in learning Tigerpaw, which I think is really, really important. You get the knowledge, you can start using other parts of the product. So this was a huge product launch for us to build this thing. And it's a fantastic engine, and now we're just down to adding content and making a few tweaks. But this is live. You guys can use this right now. 15R1 courses are already built into it. This is also now where you download your software. So you click here and everything that you're eligible to download shows up. I'm very excited to tell you in the next couple weeks you're going to have a lot more links in this section as part of Tigerpaw 1, which is very cool. So it's all managed now through the Tigerpaw Academy. You, of course, can make service requests, but the big thing is about the classes and the courses. What do you think? Is this going to help you get your people trained better? Are you all going to go log in? Thank you. We do a lot. We know that. Implementing everything can be a challenge, but we are absolutely committed to giving you the tools to be successful. I can't make you, I can take you to the water and I can't make you drink is the old analogy, but by God, I'm going to keep dragging you to the water. So if you guys got ideas on specific classes you'd like, or how we can continue to enhance this in a way that makes it easy for you to have accountability and to get trained, we're going to do that. This is a phenomenal piece of software. Again, it's not a product feature. It's about helping you use what we've got a lot more effectively and efficiently. Let me see, pop back over here. So we walked through the tour. Again, I want to reiterate, all of this is part of Tigerpaw 1, and as well as LiveBridge. If you're not opting to go with Tigerpaw 1, the Academy is still part of that. You have access to it. So as long as you stay with us, man, we're going to continue to provide content and updates. What I want to close with is tell you kind of a little bit about what we're looking at right now in our roadmap. I'm always hesitant to put features up here. I do have a slide to kind of show you what people are asking for. It is very dynamic. As I mentioned to you, one of the things is we're focused on efficiencies. Things like the shared contacts and being able to update contacts. The product has so much in it. Throwing a ton of new crazy big features at you when you're not running all the stuff we have in it today, it just doesn't seem right. And the feedback that we've gotten from clients is, hey, put the polish on it. This feature that you've got, I use it every day, but it's 98% there. If you can get that 2% in there, it would be rock star. So we're looking at those kind of opportunities to buff and shine this thing and just make it a lot more effective and easy to use. That said, I want to share with you some requests, and I would like to maybe get a response from you to understand how important these are. These are not in any particular order. They're just some things that have really bubbled up on our priority list from a lot of vocal people. Okay? The first is a severity drop down on service orders. You have priority today, but you don't have severity, which changes the dynamics of your SLAs. How many of you have been wanting a severity flag on the service tickets? Couple of you. Okay, thank you. This is what's helpful to us, because we've had some people very vocal on that. Recurring agreements. Right now they bill in one direction. I think we bill forward as opposed to backwards. And people want us to be able, we bill in arrears instead of billing forward on our recurring agreements. But a lot of you said you do that very differently. You want to bill it the other way. That's something that's high on our roadmap. How important is that to you? Okay. I feel safe to say we're going to get that one done fairly soon. Thank you. Time entries to billable items. So right now you create all the time entries, and then you have to use EasyBill or some sort of functionality to turn those into billable items. We've been approaching the idea of automating all that. So we basically think of an automated EasyBill feature where there's no human intervention, so that you can batch to your invoices and all your time bills. How important is that to you? Okay. Custom dashboard views. We have a dashboard engine. People have been wanting more customization over the dashboard. Our vision would be to let you take any matrix that you build and use that matrix to generate any kind of dashboard panel, whether it be a list or it be a gauge or it be a graph. How important is that to you? That one sounds important. All right. I like that. That would be a fun one to see implemented too. This gets asked again. I notice a lot of you guys are working with multiple accounts. How many of you would like to see the ability for us to support multiple accounts on a single project? Another big one. All right. It's nice to hear the clapping. It means that we're hearing the right stuff. I already have a feeling I know what this one's going to be. Who wants to be able to quote a contract or agreement and generate an agreement from that quote? All right. Merging quotes. We've actually promised this to somebody. This is something that's being in development. How many of you need the ability to merge quotes? Cool. By the way, you may wonder why they do that. Again, some of our converged guys, they'll do a separate quote for a voice system, they'll do a separate quote for the managed services, and they may even do an AV or security quote. So they kind of keep that separate in the sales cycle, but at the end of the day, they want to merge it all up into one proposal to give somebody and then fulfill it as a job. This is something, again, that is actually in development, but I'm going to put it up here so you know. You know that we have the ability to do real-time price book lookup and availability from vendors. I hope you know that. So when you go to quote an item, you can actually see, does Tech Data have it and how many do they have? What we have been asked to build and what we've been working on is the ability to not have to have the item in Tigerpaw, but to click browse and actually browse, for example, Tech Data's entire price book, pick an item, it goes on your quote as a non-stock, but with all the detail behind it. So if you turn it into an order, the stock item is actually created in real time as you do that. I'm glad you like that one. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We've asked for an audit tab on the service order. So much activity happens, and we put a lot of things in the notes, but people have asked for more of an official audit trail on the service ticket, much like we do in the audit log. So you'd have a tab, and you'd have a transactional log table of every status change, every note that's been updated. How important is that to you? Cool. This is related to projects. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we clap and we move on. Now, this would be assigning multiple contracts to an agreement. You know, we've got contracts and we've got agreements. And a lot of people, they use them in a really kind of an interesting synergistic way. Because the contract allows you to track a lot of things that the agreement doesn't. So people want to create an agreement which would have some managed services stuff, but it might also have some other type of contract work on it. So the idea is that they can create a contract to track usage. Contracts can be related to things like warranty work. So you might have a different contract with different warranty work separate from something you're doing with the managed services. And this is something that's been asked a lot is, can we take all these different contracts I got for a client that all these different start dates and end dates, but link them to one agreement that does all the billing and the integration with the RMM tool? Does that sound like something important to you? A smaller number. All right. And then this is another one that's been on our list for a long time. As you know, if you have unused hours on a contract, when you create a new contract, you have to manually roll those hours over. How many of you would just like to see those hours roll over automatically on the new contract? Okay. And then, I hate to even ask this when I think about the work it's going to be, but we've been asked to be able to assign multiple accounts to things, or multiple reps, to things like accounts, opportunities, projects, and service orders. Because you may have a primary account rep, you want a secondary account rep, partner type situations. How important is this to you? Okay. And then I mentioned removing credit cards is being done. API reporting and mobile are getting constant attention. So, this gives you an idea of where our head is at. It is not necessarily what we're going to do or make a commitment to, although I promise you some of the items you clap for we're going to build in the next release. I mean, they're going to happen. But more important than kind of saying, this is what you're going to see tomorrow, what I want you to understand is where we're looking. We're really paying attention to the things that have come in from you guys about the features that we have. How do we improve? How do we tweak? How to make it better, as opposed to throwing a whole new layer of tools that you've got to learn and use without revisiting them. It's a philosophy more than a schedule. I know it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but this is how we're looking at the product. This is how we're listening to requests. So these things are going to be tossed around in the forum, and there's a lot of room to slide in other things and small things, so don't stop asking. I know you won't, but don't stop asking. But it was important for me today to share the tools and things that we've built for you, talk about where we're going from a perspective. Do you guys feel that we're on the right path? Some nodding? Thank you. All right. That's all I have time for today. I know some of you are going to have some pet questions. I know some of you wanted to talk to me yesterday, and we talked about talking after the stage. I did not mean to offend anybody if you didn't get time with me. I'm just running around like crazy here, but find me, find Mary. We may have to set up a time to meet or a phone call, but all of your voices are important to me. If there's something I can do, I do want to talk to you. It just may not be something that you can kind of catch me in the hall, so please don't be offended if that happens. But don't let that stop you from coming up and chatting. We'll figure out how to make that work. So guys, thank you very much. And the spirit of the party tonight, I'm going to go with Fiend. So thank you. I hope you liked it. Thank you.